Hi, folks. Welcome back to Crisco's Corner. Breaking news from Detroit. One of the states that's in contention, swing state. Wayne County Board of Canvassers deadlock in vote to certify election results. For those who don't know, Wayne County is Detroit. Huge county as far as votes go and population. The Wayne County Board of Canvassers deadlock in a 2-2 tie vote, split along party lines. Ooh, what a shocker. Tuesday in the effort to certify the election results Tuesday night. Theoretically, what can happen, I think it goes to the legislature. But it's interesting in Michigan because the legislature is controlled by the Republicans and it's a Democrat governor. So this is going to be fun. If by some slim chance Wayne County cannot certify, none of the votes, at least for the presidency, will not count. Interesting. The vote was split with 2 Republican members voting not to certify the results and 2 Democratic members voting to certify them. Earlier, a lawsuit by Republican challengers was rejected by Michigan Court of Appeals alleging fraud at TCF Center Detroit, where the count was held, leading to the certification meeting. I do have to say, I don't care what side of the issue you're falling on this. At least you should agree that the big counting centers handled this all wrong. What I mean by that is, we're not going to talk about fraudulent votes that came in or any of that stuff. At least you people out there that are against all this nonsense, you think it's foolishness and you think it's sour grapes, you have to admit that the counting centers, Philadelphia especially, Detroit, 2 swing states, what a shocker, handled it badly with people observing the counting of the votes, getting court orders to keep poll watchers out. I mean, whatever happened to open government? It only works when it's your side that's doing it. Don't worry, trust us. We know what we're doing. Well, no. What's the old Ronald Reagan saying? Absolutely trust, but verify. Putting up cardboard on windows so people couldn't observe. You got to admit at a minimum, that this was not handled properly. Now, if you can't admit to that, stop listening to the rest of the video. Because you can't reason with you. At least admit some of the things that were wrong. If you can't do that, my suggestion is if your health care plan covers it, go see somebody for help. And there's a picture of the ballot count center in Detroit on election night. I'm sure that was a zoo. The part that intrigues me, though, is all these states are counting away. All of a sudden, bang, everybody stopped. It was the damnedest thing. Never seen anything like it. Wow, it was creepier than hell. But I digress. Let's carry on with the story. There's been a litany of allegations, including improper absentee voting counts and lack of access for Republican challengers, among others. Well, in a heavy Detroit is heavy Democrat. Michigan Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson has dismissed the allegations, essentially calling them sour grapes for those whose candidate did not win, while critics question the surge of absentee ballots that propelled many on the Democrat ticket. Same thing's going on here. I live in upstate New York. I'm in Congressional District New York 22nd. Claudia Tenney had huge lead. I believe over 30,000 vote lead. That shrunk down to almost nothing. All of a sudden, all these absentees come out of nowhere. And the vast majority of them that are on the Democrat side come from college students that live downstate. They aren't even from here. So not only does New York City control all of our governance, they get to pick who our representatives are up here. It sucks. And being a local city councilman years ago, I lost 2 elections once I turned a Republican because the district is a heavy amount of SUNY students that come from downstate. So SUNY students get to come here, pick who the local representatives are, and then they go back to New York and live their lives. It sucks. Unbelievable. Well, let's continue. She issued a statement saying the deadlock is not a reflection on the election results being fraudulent. Benson said this is common for some precincts in Michigan and across the country, to be out of balance by a small number of votes, especially in cases when the turnout is high. Michigan's Bureau of Elections stands ready to fulfill its duty to complete the canvass for Wayne County, address any clerical errors, and improve the quality of the canvass overall. Importantly, this is not an indication of any votes were improperly cast or tabulated. Here's the problem. When all those votes were taken in, and there were no observers, once those ballots get out of the envelopes, and the envelopes are discarded, and they did it in other states. There's a former attorney general that said to talk to people counting the ballots. Why are you throwing the envelopes? They came in out because I can. You cannot trace them anymore. That's the entire point. Whether they're legal or illegal now, no one knows, or no one can prove. And that's the long and the short of it. Should the current decision of the Board of Wayne County Canvassers hold through the adjournment of today's meeting, the Board of State Canvassers will be responsible for certifying the Wayne County election. In similar circumstances in the past, state canvassers have appointed the Bureau of Elections to carry out the processes of canvassing the vote and the voter totals. The Bureau stands ready to fulfill its duty, and we accept this. We'll address clerical errors, yada, 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 yada. You know, the usual politician crap. I'm not going to bore you with the rest of it. Michigan GOP leader Laura Cox said in a statement that people of Michigan deserve to know what happened. Okay, that's probably a misquote. On election night over the days that followed, I am proud that due to the efforts of the Michigan Republican Party, the Republican National Committee, and the Trump campaign, enough evidence of irregularities and potential voter fraud was uncovered, resulting in the Wayne County Board of Canvassers refusing to certify their election results. This action will allow more time for us to get to the bottom of these deeply troubling irregularities. The people of Michigan deserve fair, open, and transparent elections, and we will continue to fight for just that. Now, folks, I've been an election inspector a couple of times here in upstate New York in Broome County and Binghamton. I've been a candidate for local office for 5 times, so I know a little bit about how it's done. Not this level, of course, but the procedures are the same, and it's the same points. This machine stuff really has to stop. I'm sorry, but it does. Now, in this county, we use tablets. You sign in with a tablet. Remember in the old days, there used to be a book, and your name was in the book, and if they saw your name, they would turn the book around, and you would sign it, and your signature was upside down the other way, so you couldn't fake a signature. And they turned around, they compared it, okay, because you're not supposed to ask for ID, God forbid. You ask for ID for everything else. It's just amazing. I mean, you can't get... My understanding is in New York, I own a convenience store, you have to be 18 to buy a lighter, for Christ's sake. So, that's not a problem. It's just so asinine. But anyway, and then you sign the book. We used to go in the old machines with the curtains, if you remember, and pull the levers above the names. And there was huge rolls of paper in the back, and they were kind of archaic, and they were a pain in the neck, and they broke down quite often. So the last few years here, we have both. We have the tablet to sign in and a paper ballot you're given with the people that are up for election. And all the offices from dog catcher all the way to president here locally. You fill in a little oval. You feed it into a machine. The machine says vote successfully cast. You go on your way. Am I really that secure on the fact that that machine counts it in the software that does it? Well, I don't know. I mean, things can be manipulated. But at least here, there's the paper ballots in the box. and they are stored wherever the county stores them. I'm not sure how many years is required. All right, that's a legitimate compromise. That's a fair compromise. I'm not thrilled at all these absentee ballots that are coming in late. I think that should be stopped. In all fairness, it's election day, and you have until the poll closes on election day. If the Board of Elections, or whatever the agency is that receives votes, and your county or state does not get your vote by close of business, in this case, election day, November 3rd, I'm sorry, it shouldn't count. Now, if there are people that came to the polling places and filled out, we used to call them emergency ballots. In other words, I'm not in the book, but I live here and blah, blah, blah. We always used to get those guys. I live here and this is BS. And okay, yeah, here you go. Fill out an emergency ballot, seal it up, and then we'll have the board deal with it later. There's no point standing here arguing with a guy. All right, whatever. But they're coming up by the thousands now in those in this local election. There's 1,500 of those that came up around a college. It's out of hand. And, I'm going to say this directly because I was a Democrat my whole life. I'm not anymore. And I'm not saying everybody around here. Democrats are notorious for cheating. I'm sorry, they are. They just are. And I used to work on campaigns, and I know. It's not the candidates saying, you guys go out and cheat and do this and do that. It's not what's happening. A lot of the people that would help on campaigns would do underhanded things, i.e. sometimes cheating. And the candidates would find out, and they would be, hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil. Blah, blah, I don't have to know about it, don't tell me. And that's the way it used to work. And I'm sure it works around everywhere. We're no different here in upstate New York than the rest of the country. People are people are people. I give an example. 2007, a very good friend of mine was city council president. Was pushed out as a Democrat and lost because he wasn't progressive enough. And after the election, and by the way, he passed away, rest his soul. After the election, I went around with a list of new registered people for the last 60 days prior to the deadline to register. And I didn't knock on their doors with a list. I just went on the porches and I looked for the name on the mailbox. And out of the 20 names that I had, the first 20, I should say, 12 out of the first 20, the name wasn't on the mailbox. Things that make you go, And this is just a little tiny city council race. You can imagine what goes on at the much higher level. And I'm going to leave it at that. I hope, honestly, one of two things happens. Either they uncover this huge amount of FRAUD, excuse me, because you can't see the word too much in the video. It'll get flagged by the software. Or they don't certify the damn thing. Get your crap together, or we're going to penalize you. And I hope and I pray, as the president said concerning impeachment and all this craziness from the mainstream media, and now this fiasco, he hopes and I hope, and we should all hope, that this never, ever, ever happens to a president again. And that's it for now, folks. Until next time, goodbye and good luck.